What is up? What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Yeah. That's my catchphrase, man, this week, I know. But check this out. We left off with Wendy talking about Puffy actually dating like 3 or 4 women at the same time within the same year and jumping back and forth and having sex with them and everything. Anyway, if you missed part 1, go back and check out part 1. I said some interesting things. I think they're interesting. Half the people tell me stop talking and let it play. Well, if you want to let it play, there's a link below. Like Total, I forgot all about Total. I had some workings with Total. One of the girls in Total, 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦 and her husband was coming to my recording studio and we was doing work and stuff together. So yeah, this stuff is kind of close to me, man. So let me do my thing. Can I? Look here. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy out.
We were all friends. I wasn't running around through my career and every couple of years just being like with a new person. These are people that have been my friends. Then I would get my heart broken and then my friend would be there and I would fall in love with my friend and then I would get my heart broken, which is a crazy statement.
Yeah, how is that better? You know?
I met all of them in the same year, so I've known all of them the same amount of time. We were friends. No.
He also said specifically about having daughters. He has 3 sons and now 4 daughters. The youngest being Love Combs, was born in 2022. This next statement is crazy. It took me to have daughters to really know how to treat a woman, and I'm still learning. But I guess they didn't teach him that much because in another appearance on The Breakfast Club, he's there sitting next to his son, Christian Combs, who is the one being sued by the yacht stewardess, Grace. This is what he says about dating. And by the way, Christian is like a teenager at this point, so he's like consciously aware. And he looks up to his dad. He's his role model. He says, if I'm in a relationship with you, 25% of your time, you're just going to be like, oh man, I hate being here. This guy cheated on me. He lied on me. But then there's 75% of the time, I'm going to make you the happiest woman in the whole wide world. I'm going to be there to support your dreams. I'm going to be there to hold you, listen to you. I'm going to be there to be your best friend. And I promise you'll smile the most. You know who I am. This is what it is. Which deal do you choose? Which is just the craziest thing ever. But Diddy claims he really loves his children. So for his children, he has started a new company called Combs Cartel, which is very questionable. It's an umbrella company for the joint ventures of his children. His first son, Quincy, who he adopted, that he has with Kim Porter, he is acting. He recently starred in the Netflix special Holiday Calendar. Justin is Diddy's first biological child with 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦. He used to run a segment on Revolt TV, which is a media company that used to be owned by Diddy, called Respectfully Justin, where he interviews celebrities. But like he does, you know what? I'm not going to go there. He doesn't really interview the celebrities. He has a co-host that does all the talking. He just kind of is there.
You know, to be honest, man, I kind of feel sorry for the kids, all of them. As a kid is growing up, experiencing struggles, nah, you can't have that. A parent got to find new ways to say that you can't have this because they can't afford it. Dad, why we don't drive a Benz? Why we don't drive a Ferrari? Why we don't drive a Bentley? Son, we can't afford them type of things. That wasn't in their lives. That's an important thing in growing up, in parenting. Yes, it is.
And so people have called him out for being a Nepo baby because you're not really doing anything on the show. You just got a show because your dad owns the network.
Right.
I digress. Now the most, you know who I am. Started a new company called Combs Cartel, which is very questionable. It's an umbrella company for the joint ventures of his children. His first son, Quincy, who he adopted, that he has with Kim Porter, he is acting. He recently starred in the Netflix special Holiday Calendar. Justin is Diddy's first biological child with 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦. He used to run a segment on Revolt TV, which is a media company that used to be owned by Diddy, called Respectfully Justin, where he interviews celebrities. But like he does, you know what? I'm not going to go there. He doesn't really interview the celebrities. He has a co-host that does all the talking. He just kind of is there. And so people have called him out for being a Nepo baby because you're not really doing anything on the show. You just got a show because your dad owns the network.
Right.
I digress. He looks up to his dad. He's his role model. He says, if I'm in a relationship with you, 25% of your time, you're just going to be like, oh man, I hate being here. This guy cheated on me. He lied on me. But then there's 75% of the time, I'm going to make you the happiest woman in the whole wide world. I'm going to be there to support your dreams. I'm going to be there to hold you, listen to you. I'm going to be there to be your best friend. And I promise you'll smile the most. You know who I am. This is what it is. Which deal do you choose? Which is just the craziest thing ever. But Diddy claims he really loves his children. So for his children, he has started a new company called Combs Cartel, which is very questionable. It's an umbrella company for the joint ventures of his children. His first son, Quincy, who he adopted, that he has with Kim Porter, he is acting. He recently starred in the Netflix special Holiday Calendar. Justin is Diddy's first biological child with Misa Hilton. He used to run a segment on Revolt TV, which is a media company that used to be owned by Diddy, called Respectfully Justin, where he interviews celebrities. But like he does, you know what? I'm not going to go there. He doesn't really interview the celebrities. He has a co-host that does all the talking. He just kind of is there. And so people have called him out for being a Nepo baby because you're not really doing anything on the show. You just got a show because your dad owns the network.
Right.
I digress. Then there's Christian Combs, the first child with Kim Porter. Christian is taking more after his dad, trying to get into music. Musically, he goes by the name King Combs. He has a song called Can't Stop, Won't Stop featuring Kodak Black. I think that was his biggest song. But I think the most talked about song is a song he recently released 5 months ago. It's called Pick a Side.
Pick a side.
This was released after the feds raided Diddy's homes, but before he's arrested. The more relevant lyrics go like this. I dare one of you N-words scream out, no Diddy. Might see me with some pretty hoes with me, but ain't no hoe in me. Police raid the crib like we selling crack. We ain't doing that, but we out here selling tracks, multi-million-dollar plaques. All that woofing on the net. Internet, I guess. Well, now it's time to show N. Steady talking to the fam, and we don't even know. But go ahead, play one call away. We ain't sparing no. Knock them walls down like when them Fetty boys ran in both of our cribs. Too bad they ain't know we bought the one next door, cause that's the one they missed.
Wait, what did he just say about next door?
He's saying, first of all of you guys yapping on the internet, we're not sparing anyone. This is like a freaking war. Then he goes on to state, like the feds raided our crib acting like we're selling crack, but we're not. We're selling tracks, but also jokes on them because they missed one because they had purchased 2 homes in Miami, it seems, on Star Island. And I guess he's insinuating that the feds didn't check the new home or something that they bought next door.
Really? He's flexing about that.
Oh, just you wait till the comments. Now, there seems to be references to 50 Cent and Eminem. We will get to that in part 4, where we go through all of Diddy's friends and then everyone who has hated him since day one. Because there's a lot of celebrities who have been beefing with him since day one. Now, the main comments on this diss track read, this shit is whack. Others point out that he's grown up in such a privileged household, he can't even make a good diss track. They comment, wow, we're really making it out the gated community with this one, fam. Another comments, snitched on himself and hit us with this itsy bitsy spider flow. Yeah, he does like a nursery rhyme beginning.
They praying on our downfall another time again. After the rainfall, the sun gonna shine again. That's right. Don't bust no U-turns cause we ain't forgetting shit.
And then others say, when you make a poem in primary school and then add a backtrack. In the lyrics, like I said, he talks about the feds missing the second home in Miami they allegedly purchased. A lot of netizens found that hilarious, saying, how do you snitch on yourself in your own diss track? LOL, he said, don't forget the house next door.
The feds just raided 2 of their house. Yeah. And he's making a diss track on the public as well as
the feds.
The feds?
Yes.
What is going on right now?
Yes, which a lot of people have said, you know, cops, okay, maybe. The feds, nobody really with the feds. Like, that's just not something you do. Especially when you're like being investigated for RICO conspiracy, racketeering.
This is not gonna age well.
The feds, they might overlook a lot of things, but they will not overlook things like racketeering.
Yeah.
People comment, how are you gonna make a diss track where you're not really dissing anybody, only name dropping and then self-snitching? This sounds less like a diss track and more like a confession. Others are commenting, yeah, well, we did pick a side and it's not with the oily diddler. A lot of people think it's just so bizarre. It really just shows how untouchable they think they are. Because why would you tease the feds like that? Yeah. Gene, the former bodyguard, states about the song, it's like he put another battery in the feds' back. Don't play with the feds, bro. You might think it's petty, but it's not. You do not agitate a lion with a pork chop. And that's what that kid did. Others have commented, Christian Combs said pick a side. The feds said pick a cell. Yeah. So he's in a lot of hot water. Justin was...
Where is he right
That's
now?
crazy.
He's actually just seen partying with his girlfriend.
Oh, okay. So he's still out right now.
There's
That's stupid. You're going to be a celebrity. You're going to be a kid. You're going to be a spoiled kid. You're going to be a recording artist. You're going to be an adult. I'm 31.
no criminal charges against him. It's just the civil lawsuit against him with Grace. Yeah, then you have Chance Combs, Sarah Chapman's daughter. I watched a lot of interviews with Chance Combs in there, and honestly, she seems really, really smart. Like, she just turned 18. She's very beautiful. It seems to have a good head on her shoulders. Then you have Delilah and Jesse, the twins. They were born 5 months after Chance. It seems like all the three of them are very close in age, but also just in bond. They're currently aspiring to be full-time models. They joined their father on the stage for the 2023 VMAs, where he's saying, "I'll be missing you," which is a song we will cover in part 3 because it is in reference to a murder that he is allegedly, the conspiracy is he was involved in. These girls are stunning. I mean, people have said they look just like their mother, Kim. They also seem really down to earth, and I'm sure it's very difficult for them to navigate all of this right now. I believe the two twins are still minors until December, if I'm not mistaken. So navigating all of this while being so young, I'm sure is very hard. And then you have the youngest, like maybe 2 years old right now, I think, Love Sean Combs, a baby girl that Diddy shares with a woman named Dana Tran. Some sources describe her as a model. Other sources state she's a cybersecurity expert. Regardless, she was born in 2022. He actually just posted an Instagram photo for her while he's in prison. Yeah.
He posted an Instagram photo of the 2-year-old baby?
Yes, it's her birthday. It was recently her birthday.
How does he
I'm
have
sure someone,
Instagram?
Maybe someone did it for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nobody really knew that Diddy was even expecting another child. In fact, most netizens thought that he was in a interesting relationship with Young Miami of City Girls, but he just like randomly posted on Twitter, "I'm so blessed to welcome my baby girl, Love Sean Combs, into the world. God is the greatest." So I will say, out of the 7 kids, aside from Christian and Justin, who have been named in lawsuits.
How old are they now, Sean?
I think Justin is 30. Christian is 25, 26.
Oh,
Quincy's even older.
Okay.
And then Chance just turned 18, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Yeah, so particularly with the girls.
What? I thought the dark-skinned one was the oldest. I don't even know. All this time, see how backwards I am?
So I will say, out of the 7 kids, aside from Christian and Justin, who have been named in lawsuits.
How old are they now, Sean?
I think Justin is 30.
That's Justin.
Christian is 25, 26.
Christian, did they put the pictures up backwards? Help me out, y'all. Please help me.
Oh,
Quincy's even older.
Quincy is the
oldest.
oldest.
And then Chance just turned 18, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Yeah, so particularly with the girls and the youngest kids, there's rightfully a lot of sympathy out there for them from the public because likely they don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And if anything, I'm sure even a little bit of that controlling behavior from Diddy was in his parenting. It couldn't have been easy just growing up with the media, the press, and it's definitely not easy for them now with, unfortunately, the whole situation. And I don't know how good of a father Diddy was. They state that he was a very good father, but Diddy once told a reporter, "Somebody gave me multiple choices early on. Have a smooth working relationship, have a personal life, or be in the music industry. I chose be in the music industry." He also told another Vibe reporter once, "Anything I've wanted, I can say I've gotten it." Diddy was born in Harlem. His father was allegedly an associate of a legendary heroin kingpin, Frank Lucas. He was unfortunately murdered in the 70s, which means Diddy and his mom, they're left to fend for themselves. And Diddy says in an interview, he remembers waking up in Harlem one day. There were just so many roaches on my face. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to be somebody. He later states in another interview, there was 15 roaches on his face, to which he says, people was like, how do you know it's 15? I was like, if you have 15 roaches on your face, you would know it was around 15 roaches on your face. He says, my first job was a paper boy. I was a bus boy. They wouldn't even let me be a waiter. Do you know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a waiter so bad, but I just always had that hustle. Even being a paper boy, he said he's not going to do it like everybody else. He states that when you're a paper boy, you get your predetermined route. You make about $1 per paper you deliver, but because you only get a certain number of houses in your route, you're capped out. But Diddy thought, what if I'm not capped out? He goes, reaches out to all the paper boys in the neighboring areas. I have a proposal. You let me deliver your papers for you. You do nothing, and we split the profits. Sure, you could make $1 a paper and you're working all day, or you could make 50 cents a paper and do nothing. He said even though his dad was murdered when he was a toddler, quote, even if we don't know our parents, we still have their DNA in us. We have their genes. I have his hustler's mentality, his hustler spirit, his drive, his determination, his swag. He starts off and he later tells Forbes, I ain't fooling around. I'm building assets. He says, I had to go in knowing I'm going to be the greatest. I still have to say that to myself, and I have to believe that at the end of the day, I'm going to be the greatest. At first, I was shy. Then one day I realized that shy shit isn't going to get me anywhere in this life right here. In this world, sometimes people say I'm cocky and arrogant, but that's what comes with it. He also talks about obstacles and how he loves challenges. He says, it's like this mountain is 3 times bigger in front of us. It's got a volcano coming down, rocks, avalanches, and you're like, yo, do you want to climb this mountain? Or do you just want to go find shelter and ride this thing out and just die? And he loves money. Maybe he gets it from his dad, but he loves money and he's skilled at making it. He was estimated to be worth close to $1 billion. His estimated earnings in 2023 alone are ballparked to be around $90 million, making him Forbes' number 14 highest paid entertainer after Jay-Z, Kanye West, the creators of South Park, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Reese Witherspoon.
How? Like, where's the money coming from?
Wow.
He had a tequila line that he got a big payout for as well. Yes.
I see.
Now, just to give you context on how much $90 million is, that's about $250,000 a day. He's also very skilled at enjoying his money. He owns that private jet that cost him $60 million, a real estate portfolio nearing $100 million. He owns...
Right. So he has a $60 million private jet,
Yes.
right? Last time you say the jet disappeared from the navigation system, right?
The tracking, yes.
Like,
Oh, it was recently spotted in New Zealand. People saw a picture of it because it's matte black and it's, yeah.
oh, so what happened? He just removed it from the system?
Yes, and his lawyers are telling the judges that he's willing to sell his private jet to show the judge that he's not at flight risk. So please give him bail. The judge said no. He owns a massive painting that he bought at auction for $21 million. It's an original Carrie James Marshall. It's incredibly beautiful. He owns original Andy Warhol's, Keith Haring's. There was one time he was being interviewed talking about how excited he is about being a father, and Kim was pregnant with twins. Conan O'Brien was like, are you registered with Kids R Us? To which Diddy looks slightly offended and tells him he's registered at Mercedes, which is likely a joke, but still very extravagant nonetheless. He had a famous butler once who would walk around just holding a umbrella over his head. His name was Farnsworth Bentley. Yeah, he would just walk around with this umbrella. And recently, prior to his arrest, Diddy just announced that he purchased 2 of the largest cannabis companies in the country for nearly $200 million, making him the owner of the largest black-owned cannabis company in the US.
Wow.
I don't know what's going to happen to that now. But he would also say things like, I don't want to make the most money. I want to be known for giving the most money away.
I feel like I've heard that a few times. SBF.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which he's sharing, is that true? Sharing the cell with?
Yeah, sharing the same unit with Diddy. The crypto fraud of FTX crypto, yeah. He's in the same detention center in Brooklyn. And they actually share the same attorney, which we will cover in part 4. Maybe they're best buds. He said in a previous interview, "I'm the one driving around in the Rolls Royce with this hat turned, going down Fifth Avenue with the music booming in the back, walking into Gucci, shutting down the store, buying everything at the motherfucking same time, driving up to Harlem and giving out $100 bills to homeless people." I'm not gonna lie to you, I had a taste of wealth and I was gonna do anything I could to protect that. I just remember these days of roaches crawling on me, and it's just like, I need to focus on this money right now because nobody else has the opportunity that I have. Which again, not a controversial statement, but a source close to Diddy, almost alluding to that, says that to Diddy, it's not even just about money. It's about power. And ultimately it appears that Diddy wants power. They say this about him: there's a certain narcissism and attitude of objectifying not just women, but all people, and wanting to be with other men who enjoy moving people around like chess pieces.
Who said this?
An insider source. But Diddy claims that the only thing that got him to be worth close to $1 billion, the credit goes to being a father. Fatherhood taught him patience and grace.
Wow.
And I'm sure he believes he is a great father. Which is why his son, Christian Combs, is getting sued by Grace, the yacht stewardess who claims she was essayed by Christian Combs while working on the Victorious yacht December of 2022. Grace was 25 at the time, he was 24 at the time, and honestly, her lawyer had it out for Christian. They write it in the lawsuit. Defendant Christian Combs is a 25-year-old auto-tuned and heavily edited rapper. Unfortunately, as the saying has it, the apple does not fall far from the tree. Defendant C. Combs, Christian Combs, who has seemingly taken after his father and the family business of reckless partying, drugging others, sexual violence, and other illegal conduct. She alleges, paraphrasing here, but like the lot of the whole family were weird. The lawsuit alleges a constant rotation of suspected sex workers and A-list celebrities were rotating on the yacht. Staff were often treated with disrespect. It created an extremely hazardous environment. Also in the lawsuit, there's this really weird part where Grace alleges in the lawsuit that she was tending to the yacht, and I guess the family, they were all playing a game. I don't know who was present during this game, but it seems that Diddy and his mom, Janice, were present, Janice Combs. And I don't know if Diddy was dared, but somehow the conversation in the game leads to him taking off his pants so that his private parts are exposed, and he's sitting right next to his mom, and he does it.
But that's really not his mother, though.
It's definitely strange. Side note, a lot of people think his relationship with his mom is strange. A new clip has surfaced where Diddy is with his mom, and they're both hooked up on IVs. Which so Cassie has included in her lawsuit that after freak-offs, they would need to get IVs the next day from all the drug usage. I'm just saying that's a parallel.
That's
it's been alleged by Cassie that, and these could be completely different things. Not everyone who gets IVs do freak-offs. So in the video, he introduces his mom and kisses her on the lips, which is inherently not sexual, I guess. It depends on each person's boundaries. It's just weird. He also apparently brags about his mom and taking his mom to strip clubs. So there's that. Gene, the former bodyguard.
Well, as far as that kiss on the lips, the way they did it, like a little tiny peck. Millionaires now. I'm rich. I'm famous. I'm trying to show I love my mom. I'm doing it for the camera. I give Diddy and them and mom that, or auntie, or whoever you are. But you understand what I'm saying? It's just, if that was the only thing, no beating, no kids, no gay stuff, no taking people publishing, if that was the only thing, then that would have boom and rolled out.
Guard says the two of them have a fascinating relationship. He brings up an allegation that has been circulating recently that Diddy's mother owned a modeling agency when he was younger. So after his father was killed, they needed to make money. So she opens up a modeling agency. But the allegation is that perhaps during the day it's a modeling agency, perhaps at night it's sex work. Some further allegations allege that she was running a full-on brothel out of their home when Diddy was a kid. Gene, the former bodyguard, just brings up what he claims he saw and what he thought was strange about Diddy and his mom's relationship. One, he claims Diddy would describe his mother in odd, potentially sexual ways, bragging about how she can stand up and bend over and put her palms on the ground. But it was, I guess, in a sexual context. It was weird.
What?
Allegedly. Two, they would kiss on the lips, which is evidenced by the live stream. 3, he alleges his mom would wear the same white nail polish that Cassie alleged Diddy would like to see during freak-offs. Which, side note, if you listen to part 1 of this 4-part series, you know that another alleged girlfriend of Diddy's went on a podcast to allege that she was abused by him. She also had on white nail polish. Some people have pointed to the fact that Young Miami of City Girls, when she was dating Diddy, had white nail polish on. Gene continues to allege, what's crazy to me is that him and his mother had this, I don't want to get too deep, man, this Oedipus complex thing. Side note, the Oedipus complex is a theory that children will feel feelings of desire towards their opposite sex parents. For boys, there are unconscious sexual attractions towards the mother, which creates a hostility with the father, and vice versa, whom they just view same parents as their rival, is the theory. Gene continues, I'm looking at him and his mother on the couch. Both of them are getting IVs after one of Diddy's parties, allegedly, because I wasn't there. I wouldn't know. My whole thing about this thing is, I'm not saying she was ever at a freak off or she was ever at that type of party, but you can't tell me Miss Janice Combs, who is always at the regular parties, didn't know nothing about the freak off parties. That's what Gene says. Gene says he's not saying anything because he doesn't know. He didn't see anything. But he does seem to have a complicated relationship with his mom if Gene's stories are true. But he also says that he's very aggressive towards his mom. Sometimes he allegedly heard Diddy just snap at his mom. Didn't I tell you to stay out my motherfucking business? Going off on her, allegedly. But I digress. Grace alleges in her lawsuit that one night Christian Combs came via tender. So tender is a small boat that takes people from the boat to the land, from the main yacht to the land, and back and forth, like a little water taxi. He comes middle of the night. She's on the night shift. So there's only like 2 people working the whole boat at night because most people are asleep.
Yeah.
He seemed already high from narcotics and alcohol. She claimed that he was ordering her to pour him shots while he was playing Me and You by Cassie. Yes, by Cassie Ventura. This is in 2022. This song would have been over a decade old. And this is his dad's ex-girlfriend.
Wow.
And they had broken up by this point. Yeah.
This is crazy.
Anyway, that night, Grace alleges she noticed Christian being more attentive to her, which she didn't like. It didn't feel appropriate. And he keeps insisting that she take a shot with him, which is not the most uncommon thing. Although she didn't want to, she thought, well, if I just take one shot, he's going to let me go back and let me do my damn job. But no, she takes the shot and he keeps asking her to sit beside him, help keep him company, which of course is not in her job description, nor does she want to. She remains polite and insists on leaving, but he's getting more aggressive, grabbing her arm violently, insisting more shots, more shots. This is nighttime. She barely has any crew members. She can't find help right now. And she's starting to feel the effects of this one shot. She thought it was spiked. The situation escalates. Grace alleges Christian starts touching her on her private areas over her clothes and tried kissing her on the neck and face. And everyone starts blurring around her. She feels drugged. Christian and his attorneys have denied the allegations and have called the lawsuit lewd and meritless, whereas Diddy's attorneys have stated that they haven't seen the claims yet, but quote, but we can expect the same kind of manufactured lies. But a lot of netizens are having a hard time believing that when there is an alleged audio clip transcribed into the lawsuit. So I'm assuming her attorneys have the actual audio that has not been released to the public, but it's been transcribed into the lawsuit. The audio clip was recorded by Rodney Jones, a producer, Lil Rod, that was brought onto the yacht to help create Diddy's newest album that was released in 2023, ironically named The Love Album. Rodney Jones was allegedly ordered to record everything.
Ordered by who?
Diddy. Record everything for the creative process, but also potentially for a Hulu show.
Like a camera and everything, tape rolling type of thing?
Just on his phone.
Okay.
Because I guess they could include it into shows or into music videos.
Okay.
There's an audio recording of the alleged essay. Christian is, yeah.
Yes, we do that. I tell me and my team to try to record as much as possible. Think about it. If you don't like it, you can delete it. It's free.
And Christian is telling Grace, yo, it's shot o'clock.
Are you talking about this is happening at night? The first night that he came on?
Yeah.
And Little Raw was recording?
There's an audio recording. I don't know if he was in the room, but he has the recording. And I guess he gave it to Grace later.
Oh, like he had cameras and stuff set up that's recording? Whoa.
Now, Lil Rod will sue Diddy as well, which we'll get into right after this. Yeah, and Christian says, yo, it's shot o'clock. Grace responds, I'm not doing shots, Christian. Everybody, we gotta take a shot. I'll just put the ledge. No, take the whole thing. No, you take it as well. Christian tells her, no, take the whole thing, take the whole thing. Grace keeps saying, I'll take the whole shot if you take it as well. So it's likely she said this because she thought it was spiked at this point. So it's like, you take the shot from the same bottle then.
Yeah.
And he said, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not taking nothing. Please, please take the shot. And she asks, are you drugging me?
That is terrifying.
Yeah. And he responds, take the shot. Hey, yo, play another beat one time. So I guess maybe Lil Rod is in the room. Someone's in the room and they start playing Me and You in the background by Cassie. Grace tells him, I can't. I'm swapping out. I can't do it. I'm sorry, darling. Nah, we need you. I'm going to stop. I have to go. Honestly, I'm already losing sleep. I have to go now. You're the best one on the ship, though. What do you mean? Who's going to replace you? Who's going to replace me? Which sounds like a threat of firing her, if I'm not mistaken. Or it could be who's going to replace her tonight. I don't know, but that's what the transcript shows. Grace continues, excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where I want to. If you want to do this, then I will. You don't touch my legs like that. Later, Grace states again, well, you can take your hand off my ass for the first thing.
Wow.
This part wasn't recorded, but she recalls later that night, Christian kept asking her to find him a place to sleep, which there were no more spare staterooms and cabins, and he refused to go back to shore because I think him and Justin had their own place on shore. So she leads him to the cinema because sometimes people would crash there. So she leads him there and sets up a spot for him to sleep, which is her job. And he allegedly blocks her from exiting. She states he became aggressive and started cornering her, groping her. She was pushing him back. He took off his clothes and revealed his private parts while allegedly forcing her to try and get her to go down, pushing her head down. She fought him off and finally runs out of the cinema, and immediately the next morning she complained to the yacht's captain. But the captain did not care. What's wilder is Grace alleges that Diddy's employees, his chief of staff, who is right now being compared to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Who's chief of staff?
Diddy's chief of staff, like his right-hand woman,
Oh, okay.
is being compared to Ghislaine Maxwell.
I can't wait till she is called. Think about it. Diddy had your most dependable person. Every business has a vice president. Period. Everybody has a vice president. I can't wait. They're going to call her. I can't wait.
Which we did cover the Epstein case, by the way. She found out about it, allegedly told Diddy, and instead of Diddy being a good father like he claims to be, and set the record straight, go to the police, figure it out, discipline Christian, turn him in, whatever it needs, he just pays off the captain to keep him quiet and not corroborate Grace's story, if you will, and eventually she was terminated by that captain. It does appear that Grace likely has a strong case considering there's audio from that night, but that brings us to Rodney Jones, the producer that gave Grace the audio. He has also filed a lawsuit against Diddy. His lawsuit alleges that he was brought on to produce Diddy's 2023 album, The Love Album, Off the Grid, and his life has fallen apart since. For over a year, he worked to help produce 9 songs on Diddy's album. He states that Diddy always wanted him around to record everything in case he has a spark of creative genius, I guess.
Been working on an album, the Love Album, Off the Grid by Diddy, and it's Grammy nominated right now as we speak. I should be celebrating, but the truth is I'm not. Taking this album on has required so much time. Diddy will request certain works to be done and tell us don't go to sleep until it's done, and the truth is we'll be up for days.
He would live with Diddy for months, spending holidays with him, leaving his family to work on this. And he claims because of Diddy's insistence of having everything recorded, he now has hundreds of hours of Diddy's footage and audio recordings. And many of those allegedly depict them engaging in seriously illegal activity, which, I mean, the feds are going to have a field day with those files if he really does have those files.
But that's so fascinating. Why would Diddy want him to do that? Maybe his head's getting way too big.
I think so. The alleged criminal activity, according to the lawsuit, include drug usage and distribution of ecstasy, cocaine, ketamine, GHB, marijuana, and mushrooms, displaying and distribution of unregistered illegal firearms, Diddy providing laced alcoholic beverages to minors and sex workers, Christian Combs drugging and assaulting a woman, Mr. Combs, Diddy, detailing how he planned to leverage his relationship with famous pastor T.D. Jakes to do damage control.
Oh, yeah, T.D. Jakes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, he told Lil Rod allegedly that he uses him to do damage control.
Whoa.
Which I personally, in my opinion, I would find that a little believable with his constant bringing up of God while he's doing allegedly very demonic stuff.
Yeah.
He also alleges in his lawsuit that young Miami of City Girls, her cousin, essayed him, that actor Cuba Gooding Jr. essayed him and assaulted him, that redacted rapper, the name is redacted on the lawsuit, redacted rapper on the yacht was consorting with underage girls, redacted R&B singer in Diddy's LA home was consorting with underage girls and sex workers. So these are the serious criminal allegations that he's bringing forth in his lawsuit. He claims he witnessed the Combs family allegedly, potentially, maybe shoot someone, which we will cover that more in part 3. But Rodney Jones alleges in his lawsuit, throughout his time living with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was the victim of constant, unsolicited, and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus by Mr. Combs. A brief list of allegations further include, now again, these are allegations, Diddy would shower and walk around naked while forcing Rodney Jones to work in the bathroom, which is already odd. Rodney said that he told the chief of staff, Christina Coram, who is now being compared to Ghislaine, that he was very uncomfortable, but she just downplayed it all as friendly horse playing. That's just Diddy's way of showing he likes you.
What's horse playing?
Like, boys will be boys. Horse playing is like play fighting.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't even give that excuse if I had a son who's 7, let alone a middle-aged man. Rodney said his idol in life has always been Stevie J, the musical artist, which, by the way, again, these are allegations brought forth by his lawsuit that is publicly available online. I don't know these people. Which Diddy then allegedly shows him a clip of Stevie J having intimate relations with a man without a condom. There are screenshots included in the lawsuit.
Of the video?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't know. Look, it's in the lawsuit. Rodney says Diddy was trying to use this as a way to get him to do what he wanted to do, which was sexual activities with other men. According to him, Diddy said, "This is normal practice in the industry. Look, even Stevie J is doing it." He states that Diddy...
I think copies of the lawsuit is public records, and I'm about to find out. I'm going to get my team on it. Just get my team.
Promised him to win a Grammy for Producer of the Year if he engaged in gay intimate relations. Another allegation is that during Thanksgiving 2022, young Miami of City Girls, her cousin was present at Diddy's gathering, and he alleges while he was using the restroom, her cousin just burst in through the room to the bathroom and starts groping him. He believes Diddy sent her to do this. She begins performing oral on him, where he alleges he pushes her off and exits the bathroom, but she's not done. He goes out to the main area where everybody else is. There's staff, there's Diddy, there's allegedly young Miami there, and she just starts undressing, attempting to straddle him in front of everybody. He states once again he pushed her off. He further alleges that he was forced to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts to pleasure Diddy. It's unclear if it's the same setup of a freak off, but it sounds kind of like it. He once states that he woke up dizzy and confused. He was naked, looked around, and he was in bed with 2 sex workers and Mr. Combs. It's unclear what happened that night. Rodney Jones alleges that once Diddy allegedly threatened cannibalism on him, ? The lawsuit reads, Mr. Combs would switch up his approach. He would go from promising Mr. Jones the world to threatening Mr. Jones with physical harm. Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones' face and informed Mr. Jones that he is willing to kill his own mother, Janice Combs, if he must in order to get what he wants, so he wouldn't think twice to harm Mr. Jones. The lawsuit states that at parties, Justin, the eldest biological son that he has with Misa Hilton, and Sean would have minors under the age of 16 present. He alleges Diddy would force them to all drink the De Leon tequila, which he believed to be laced with ecstasy. The presence of underage women allegedly made him very uncomfortable.
So he has all the recordings.
Yes. I don't know if all of these instances were recorded. However, I will say, believe all victims, but in the court of law, there are some cases that are inevitably going to be stronger because there's a lot of evidence that comes with it. Mm-hmm. His lawsuit has lots of pictures. So I'm leaning towards the belief that he does have a lot of footage. And I'm leaning towards the belief that he is working with the feds. Now, some people actually speculate that Cassie's lawsuit was not the one that kickstarted the Fed investigation.
It was his.
That maybe he had started working with the feds, filed his own lawsuit, and the feds publicly started getting involved.
When was his lawsuit filed?
A few months after Cassie's. He brings up more of like the RICO conspiracies, the racketeering, which the feds take very seriously. Whereas for Cassie's, I think it's more focused on the sex trafficking. Yeah, which obviously sex trafficking is more serious But, America. The presence of the underage woman made Mr. Jones very uncomfortable. He attempted to leave, but Diddy went as far as stealing his car keys to prevent him from leaving. He was forced to take shots, and he woke up naked with a sex worker next to him. Now, side note, he alleges that Justin Combs would partake in those freak-offs. He has also included pictures of Diddy kissing who he claims are underage women at his party. I say alleged. The picture is there, but it's unclear if they're underage. The lawsuit continues. It is no secret that Mr. Combs had specific bottles of alcohol designated for females and other bottles designated for his staff, his artists, and himself. This fact was detailed by former artists and bodyguards of Mr. Combs. Mr. Combs would even have sets of Moet champagne bottles for his artists and a set for women. He also alleges that Diddy's chief of staff instructed employees to lace liquor bottles with ecstasy and other illicit drugs, and all the staff would have to walk around with pink cocaine, which is a mixture of ecstasy and cocaine, in their pockets because Diddy would freak out if he didn't have pink cocaine within arm's reach at all times. That's what he alleges. He also likens the chief of staff, Christina, as Ghislaine Maxwell in his lawsuit. He claims Mr. Combs possesses compromising footage of every person that has attended his freak-off parties and his house parties. Due to his treasure trove of evidence he has in his possession, Mr. Combs believes that he is above the law and untouchable. Like I said, in the lawsuit, there were those photos of Stevie J, but do that with what you will. I don't know. It's very unclear what he's doing in the screenshots. He's shirtless. It's unclear if you can even say definitively if it's him, but that would be a crazy accusation to make if you didn't believe that to be 100% true. Like speaking from Rodney Jones's fact. Because even including that, he must believe it's 100% true or it is true. Because think about the repercussions. Rodney Jones also alleges that Mr. Jones was forced to watch as Mr. Combs displayed his guns and bragged about getting away with shooting people.
Right. See, the thing that I'm trying to give people a different angle at this is he was producing an album as a producer. Somebody's doing music. To do music for Puffy, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, this is like a dream come true. Do y'all get this? So there's a lot at stake to say, wait a minute, this is not right. And Puffy knows that. That's why he can get away with it, because people be like, this ain't right, but I want this deal and I'm trying to get my music out there, so I'm going to turn a blind eye. Think about it.
He also shared that he was the one responsible for the shooting in the nightclub in New York City with rapper Shine, the one with J-Lo. Mr. Combs has made it clear that his head of security had the power to make people and problems disappear. Lil Rod would say about Diddy, he's a monster. He will do whatever is necessary to get exactly what he wants. He doesn't take no for an answer.
And on top of that, these guys are trying to steal my publishing. I can't go for that. So I'm fighting back. He's a fighter, but I'm going to put in this fight. I got to do it for myself, my rights, and most importantly, my kids.
Here I am standing up for justice, for what I believe is right for my life, and I'm being punished for that. I've had many nights and weeks and months of self-exit thoughts. It's the music that has kept me living all my life. He said he's paranoid about what could possibly happen to him. He's hired security to protect him. He said during a recent performance, my anxiety was out through the roof. I saw different happened to him. He's hired security to protect him. He said during a recent performance, my anxiety was out through the roof. I saw different guys backstage I didn't know and I got scared. I wondered where the security was. It made me very uncomfortable. It's not a good feeling wondering if someone is there to attack me. If all alleged in the lawsuit is true, it is clear that anyone who crosses Diddy should be very scared. November 15th, 2018, 47-year-old Kim Porter is found dead in her home. Her goddaughter found her in the bed at around 8:30 a.m. She assumed she was sleeping in that morning, but then checked again at around 11, 3 hours later, and she hadn't moved. She freaked out, called 911. Authorities rushed to the scene. They see Kim laying motionless in bed. Next to Kim's bed on her nightstand, bottles of water, sports drinks, Pedialyte, as well as what appeared to be a bowl of tomato soup. She was declared dead 11:40 a.m. The call came in as a report that someone was in cardiac arrest. Kim had apparently not been feeling well for the past few days. Honestly, weeks. It said that she had pneumonia or symptoms of a flu. She didn't know at the time. She was just not feeling well. She tried to get it treated with saline, vitamins. She went to bed early the night before she was found. Alarmingly, she told someone that she had a mild streak of blood in her phlegm when coughing, but it does not appear that it came back. She was on antibiotics, IV fluids, and then unfortunately she passed away. Diddy says the day Kim passed, he, quote, jumped into mommy mode. I sent people in every direction to try and make sure the kids would not hear about it on social media or the news. I had to get the girls from the school. I had to find Quincy, who was on set in Atlanta, Christian, who was on a plane. I had to get his phone disconnected so he couldn't read it on the air. There was screaming and crying when I heard the news, of course, but I had to ask myself, what would Kim do? I was scared. I was crying out to God and to her, and immediately, almost immediately, Kim's voice kicked in and I could hear her saying, make sure you take care of my babies. He would later say that day turned my world upside down. 3 days before she passed, she wasn't feeling well. She had the flu. And she sent the kids over to my house so they wouldn't get sick. And one night I was checking on her and she was like, Puffy, take care of my babies. She actually said that to me before she died. He held a memorial at his home where Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, French Montana, and other high-profile celebrities were in attendance. He says this about his relationship with Kim Porter. Whenever I was around her, I felt like God had his hand in it. I always felt like God had sent her. Nobody could love me the way she loved me, especially as crazy as I acted. She loved me through some real shit. He would later state in a public statement about her, God broke the mold when he made Kim. There was truly no other woman like her. God sent her to teach me something, which, side note, is already kind of an odd statement that doesn't sit well with a lot of people. No woman exists to teach a man something, but I digress. He continues, there's levels and dimensions to love, and especially love between a man and a woman. There's this place that almost goes beyond friendship. It's like where two people actually feel like a level of responsibility to love this person forever and total trust. And I was like, man, you had it. I'm not saying I would do anything differently, God willing. I just wish I had more time, I look at my life as I got a second chance. I'm on my second mountain. At her funeral, he would say, some people in your life, it's going to be irreplaceable. Kim, we're going to miss you so much, but I'm not going to miss you too much because I'm not going to let your voice inside me stop talking. I know you like to talk to me a lot once you get on those rants, and I just want you to know that I'm going to be listening.
What is Kim's official cause of death?
Her cause of death is considered natural. Yeah,
what?
We'll get to it. So he does all these tributes to Kim, and this is going to be kind of strange when you listen to the next part of this series because he does a lot of tributes to a lot of people who pass, which I guess is normal if you're an artist, but still. He would even dedicate a track named after her on his new album that was released in 2023, the Love album, where he says this, it's like I'm going through a midlife crisis, being a single father raising 3 teenage girls, but it's love and nothing else. I truly feel like this is God's way of making me into the best human I can become, and it's life-changing. I always said that I couldn't make a hit record unless my heart is broken. It's just like a vulnerable state that you're in. When I lost Kim, it broke my heart forever. A close friend of his said about Diddy's tribute to Kim, after Kim, he was trying to find purpose, and nothing feeds his soul like music. He also says about therapy probably likely really saved my brain, because when you have a genius brain, it's also a crazy brain. Of course, there are questions of how someone just passes away like that, seemingly out of nowhere. She was healthy, suddenly caught pneumonia, which if you have pre-existing conditions, if you are of older age, if you have low immunity, if you have other health complications, pneumonia could be fatal, but it's not considered this deadly thing. So it's just not as many people pass away from pneumonia is...
Like it's treatable, right?
Yes, is the netizen sentiment. And again, I'm not saying nobody has fatal or life-altering consequences from pneumonia, but it's just not typically known to be this very terrifying, fatal condition. It was later determined that Kim Porter had died from lobar pneumonia. The manner of death listed on her autopsy is natural. Detectives told the media that police do not suspect foul play. In addition, Diddy has been extremely cooperative. Some netizens were agreeing with this sentiment, pointing out how prior to her death, she seemed like she was in a good place with Diddy. In honor of his 49th birthday, which was a week before her death, she posted on Instagram, "Happy birthday, Diddy. On this day, a genius was born. May you continue to be the driving force of energy that God created you to be. Thank you for giving me the best gifts of life, our children." But a lot of others don't think that she died of a natural death. But who are we? We're just people on the internet. Some have stated, you know what else gives you pneumonia? This is a recent conspiracy lately. Accidentally inhaling baby oil. There are lots of conspiracies that there is no way that Kim died of pneumonia. Gene Deal, the former bodyguard, said, that case needs to be reopened, man. That case really needs to be reopened. He alleges that Kim was found dead with bruises throughout her body. And interestingly, he claims nobody knows to this day where Kim Porter's phone is, which is odd. He also alleges that it's strange. This was in 2018, so they have the cloud. They have all these things. Why didn't anyone go in and try to investigate her last text or where her phone location is? Why can't they find my iPhone? He also states that her tablet and computer have gone missing since they found her dead, which I'm not privy to any specific information like this. I'm just giving you his allegations. He says, find my phone. Nobody tried to find her phone? He's asked, you personally, what do you think happened to Kim Porter? Gene Deal responds, I'm not a medical professional, nor was I an investigator on that case, but I don't believe that an individual with her, I want to say financial status, would lay up in that house and die of pneumonia without a doctor or some kind of medical person responsible. Someone with enough money that they could get half the hospital to come to the house. I think there may have been some, I guess, foul play. Because if you knew what I knew, he put Kim in a gold casket. Then he has security, 24-hour security at the funeral home so nobody would go in there and take Kim out of there. I think they should reopen her case and have an independent pathologist look at everything about her so she can rest in peace. He also brings up how many sources state that she received a massage because she wasn't feeling well the night before her passing. He points out, that's so weird. Who gets a massage when they have pneumonia? You don't want people touching you. If you have the flu, you're like, don't touch me. I want to lay here.
Yes.
Nobody move my body. He also brings up, again, these are his viewpoints, but someone needs to look into if they used baby oil during the massage, is what he states, because there are now allegations circulating that the baby oil was laced with something. So you feel like she was murdered? I feel like there was a lot of foul play in her death. A lot of foul play. He's asked, but why would someone want Kim Porter dead? He responds very ominously. There's a couple of women in this industry, and for their sake, I will not mention their names. Listen to me. There are a couple of women, probably more than a handful or two, but I know about 4 of them that knows everybody's dirty secrets. And if those secrets get exposed and tell what some of those guys and some of these people were really doing behind closed doors in those boardrooms, in and out of the closet, their life would be in danger because men wasn't men and women were acting like men. And that's all I'm gonna say. But he does not believe the Amazon book is Kim's diary entries or in any way related to Kim. He says, if you've seen excerpts from that book, then you know Kim didn't write this book. If you know Kim and you've been around Kim.
Wait, so this guy, what's his name?
Gene Deal.
Gene Deal was a bodyguard during the time of Kim Porter.
Yes, so he was actually a bodyguard for a lot of famous musicians and executives. He was well known in the industry. He doubled as a cop. He worked as a child abuse investigator as well as a probation officer for most of his life. So people really liked him because he's very clean cut is the vibe. So he gets hired by Diddy when Diddy is dating Kim Porter. And he says that Diddy never really ever hit Kim Porter in front of him, but he would hear from the other bodyguards. So for him, his perception, his allegation is that Diddy only does things with people he thinks he can get away with. And for him, because he has a job as a cop, he's saying, if I see Diddy hit anyone, I'm arresting Diddy because I'm not trying to lose my pension. I'm not trying to lose my job as a cop. So he knows that I'm not going to put up with it. He said that Diddy once cussed out his mom in the car and he went off on Diddy and was like, you don't talk to your mother like that.
Wow.
But then he later heard, allegedly from other bodyguards, that Diddy was like slapping his mom in the face. But it never happened when he was there.
Wow.
He's been pretty vocal and his story has never really changed, it appears. So a lot of netizens find him credible. But again, that's an opinion. These are allegations. He says, and if you've been around Kim, if she was going to do a book, she wouldn't have included all those things, talking sexually like that. She's got 2 boys, 2 girls, and she was a mother first. She wasn't going to say the stuff that she was saying and about Puff in a manner that was written in that book. It seems to me that whoever wrote the book was really out to get Diddy and did it in whatever means possible, but disrespecting Kim and who she was as a mother, I don't think that's right. I think she deserves better. Side note, it does not appear that Diddy has filed a lawsuit against Gene Deal, which a lot of people think add to his credibility, which is again just an opinion. One netizen comment reads, the fact that Diddy hasn't yet filed a lawsuit against Gene Deal with all the things he said about Diddy is the most telling realization of all. Some people now believe that Kim Porter's death needs to be reinvestigated, but they also believe that she's the one that wrote that memoir on Amazon. Again, I can't dictate what others believe. I'm just telling you what's out there. Some believe that that memoir is real. They point to an interview that was done in 2012, so 6 years before her death, where in the interview, Kim talks about wanting to write a book. I will say it doesn't appear that she's referencing a memoir or any sort of tell-all book at all. She says,
but I've been in the business and been around the business. It's become a phenomenon. It's a culture. It's a, it's just for me, I wanted to present something beautiful and package it and almost like an ode to them, to what they've done.
Some netizens think that she's just using that as a cover to write a memoir. Some netizen comments read, if this book is false, how come the author hasn't been sued? I mean, I really hope it's fake though, because there's a lot of crazy shit in there. Another comment reads, the more that I listen to folk coming up against the book, the more I believe in its authenticity. Others referenced Chris Todd's interviews and they say, this man got too much confidence not to have proof that Kim wrote this book. He got some type of proof somewhere because he just has too much confidence. Another says, what if a close friend of Kim's had the actual book and flash drives but is just too scared to come out because they're too interconnected and is using this man as a front? Guys, think about it. Another comment reads, this is a lot of shit to make up. I can see some things being true, but who knows? Then there's another group of people that, yes, they want her death to be investigated, but they don't believe that she wrote that book on Amazon. They comment, that book at first glance, this reeks of a shamelessly fabricated cash grab attempt. I don't know, it just seems a little too convenient. And the stories that I've seen excerpts of appear to be someone just wildly producing sensationalized garbage and toxic gossipy bullshit. I hope for the sake of any potential victims that these things did not occur. Another one comments, this book seems like it was written by ChatGPT or something. Others have been very happy that it's been since pulled from Amazon, stating, I'm glad they took it off Amazon. The nerve of that fraud. R.I.P. Kim. But fueling conspiracies around Kim's death, I'll be sure Kim's previous partner, the father of her first child, has made a statement. In it, he basically insinuates two things. One, that Diddy might have something to do with Kim's death. And two, that Diddy might have put him in a coma. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
He is
Quincy's dad, artist. He's a well-known artist back in the day. I'll be
Okay.
sure. Yeah, there's a lot going on. But in an Instagram post, he states in 2024, Kim and I talked right up to a few days prior to her demise. She was in good health, and we were in such a great friend space, reminiscing about old times and celebrating the news of our son's accomplishments. In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on a course to accomplish what Miss Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire, which brings us here today, with the avalanche that has brought Satan to their chambers. He also hashtags FBI, DOJ, Department of Justice, as well as the CIA, DEA, NYPD, LAPD. He has called for a, quote, investigation into an entire group of individuals who worked at or around the residence of Miss Kimberly Porter. Because, quote, the individuals involved in this matter may also be connected to also concealing the alleged murders of several prominent artists. He's alluding to Tupac and Biggie, which we will talk about in the next one. Side note, I'll be sure, interestingly enough, believes that Kim was working on a book to expose Diddy. That's why she was allegedly taken too soon. Before she could expose him in a book, and then later someone stole her computer, is what he alleges. But he doesn't think that that Amazon book is the book. Because everyone's saying the way that the book is written is just not the way that Kim Porter speaks. Yeah, and then there's factual inaccuracies. Even the bodyguard doesn't think it's the book. There's just so many people that have come out against the book that are against Diddy. And I'll be sure goes on to allege that he had a health scare in 2022. This is actually true. He did fall into a coma, and the vice president, Kamala Harris, even wrote him a letter. Yeah. They're all very well connected. Yeah, he's a very prominent artist, and I believe he does he's an activist on the side as well.
wow.
Yeah, so he's been invited to a lot of state dinners, and so is his son, Quincy. Yeah. Now, he collapsed in July of 2022, fell into a coma, wakes up, it's October 2022. He was in a coma for around 3 months. To this day, it seems unclear what exactly caused the coma, but he kind of implies that perhaps Diddy was involved. He announced his documentary and states, you will really understand how I ended up in a coma. You're really gonna need to call Homeland Security. Later, he's asked to clarify that ominous statement, And he just, someone asked straight up, did Diddy try to kill you? He just responds, please understand very carefully. Me talking about situations for more than a decade and a half, and then all of a sudden everybody woke up like, whoa, yo, we thought you were crazy. But what I'm not is a liar. That I am not. All I did was give the science and I was ignored, laughed at, ridiculed. But whatever, that's okay. My God is so much bigger. My God got me.
So he's saying that he's been talking about Diddy for like a decade?
Yes, but I don't think so publicly.
No, but a lot of people are saying that. Big Homie C, Jaguar Wright, both bodyguards. Yeah. I'll be sure all these other people. So many people have been saying this. Say, man, I've been telling y'all, been saying I'm tripping. It's so many people been saying this, man. This is wow.
Because he's actually seemingly a very non-controversial person. Yeah. He also has had lingering health problems for a while. He did have bariatric surgery. He suffered from renal failure, amongst other things. So it's very unclear what caused the coma. But a lot of people believe him because he just seems to be very credible. He hasn't been this controversial figure for most of his life. But others point out, Al B. Sure had a child with Kim Porter and formally dated her. He did not take an active role in his son's life, and Puffy ended up unofficially adopting and raising that child. So they're saying, because you're not a good dad, you don't deserve to have an opinion here. Another netizen comments, what does that have to do with Puffy and what he might have done to Kim? Some question that perhaps Al wasn't in his son's life because Diddy wouldn't let him be. But that's just another pure speculation. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, states, Al's a real good dude. Do you know what I mean? So if Al is saying something that's happened to him and Puff has something to do with it, trust and believe he's going to have some evidence to substantiate that Puff had something to do with it. Either he gave him something or sent something his way.
At least so far, it seems like everyone around them are very vocal about how shady Diddy is. I haven't really heard anybody who's backing Diddy's story. Have you seen many reports?
No, but that has been a question of why aren't people backing Diddy? And so the biggest thing is all of his friends have gone quiet.
Yeah.
Some
What
people
friends?
think it's because...
Right, all the conspiracies.
Yes, because people are saying if you're not in some sort of tape, if Diddy has nothing on you, why would you not come out and condemn his actions for the hotel footage that has been proven that is him beating Cassie?
Yeah.
Because you might not have known that as a friend. And to come out and say, I don't condone this, I don't endorse this is not the type of friend that I would ever keep in my quarters. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
That's one, but also even like the people around in their families and people who works with him, like just people in general.
Yeah, they're very quiet.
Right?
In regards to Al B. Sure hiring security, which he has hired security, Gene says, I don't think nobody would be paying for security unless they thought their life was in danger. Same thing with Rodney Jones. While many agree with Al B. Sure, some have comments. I guess this is his chance to get back in the news.
What?
Yeah. One party that is clearly not on the same page as Al B. Sure about Kim Porter's death are Kim's children. They have released a joint statement, mainly in regards to the book that has been circulating. They took to Instagram to state, we have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not. And anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. Additionally, please understand that any so-called friend speaking on behalf of our mom or her family is not a friend, nor do they have her best interests at heart. The cause of her death has long been established. There was no foul play. Grief is a lifelong process, and we ask that everyone respect our request for peace as we continue to cope with her loss every day. We are deeply saddened that the world has made a spectacle of what has been the most tragic event of our lives. Our mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman that she was. Her memory should not be tainted by horrific conspiracy theories. Another one of Kim's longtime friends took to Instagram to write, I'm going to say this as loud as I can. Kim Porter never drafted nor wrote a book, memoir, or a manuscript. Kim would never do such a thing, and that's the honest to God truth. Another states, Kim Porter never authored a manuscript, and any claims suggesting otherwise are entirely false and fabricated. The baseless pages in the book not only misrepresent Miss Porter's lived experience and legacy, but also continue to cause unnecessary distress to her loved ones.
I don't give a daggone if she wrote it or not. The people have spoken. They want to hear what's in it. And they want to make that decision for themselves. I don't care. You don't care. It ain't no one. Oh, she didn't write it. Everybody knows that, oh, she didn't write it. Or, nah, she did write it. Or maybe she wrote it. Maybe she didn't write it. Well, maybe the other people who took the transcripts, I don't know how they got it in the first place. They could have edited some of this stuff and added some in and took some stuff out. Who knows? Who knows? Nobody knows. The only thing I do know is people want to read it for themselves.
Kim's former attorney has also spoken out saying she would be turning over in her grave right now. Kim never even gave an interview about her private life. She would never do that to her children. She had plenty to say, but she would never do so publicly. There would be no amount of money that could make her write a memoir. She would never do anything to hurt Puffy's reputation because she has children with him. It is impossible that is her journal. It's comical. She never even spoke that way. She never wrote that way. She was articulate. She was classy. She would never write something like that. There would be no need for her to do that. She also states, I guarantee she was not part of those freak-offs. I think she would have cut off his penis if he ever proposed that to her, which kind of goes against what others have stated, but it's up for you to decide what you believe, right? One netizen comments read, 2 things can be true at the same time. There can be legitimate questions about Kim's death, and also her children can be upset about the tabloid media and weirdos on the internet making a spectacle about those legitimate questions. It's a terrible situation. They have my sympathies. So as I was researching, there's a lot of AI-generated videos that have been going around about this case. It's not even just people asking for an investigation into her death and talking about the allegations that have been brought forth about Diddy's alleged behavior towards Kim Porter and how that could have contributed to her passing in 2018. But just like straight crazy rumors. Like she was, I can't even repeat them. They're just so bad.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
Another reads, I feel for the kids, but Kim's death should absolutely be looked at differently in hindsight. Diddy is a long-standing Hollywood conspiracy that has pieces falling into place left and right. There's going to be an intense amount of speculation because, to be honest, there has always been. We just have some proof lining up now. But another commentator writes, leave this alone, leave the kids alone, make him be resting in peace. Another reads, these poor kids are losing everything. Let them grieve their mother in peace while the rest of the world is watching their father's downfall. Even if 2 of these kids aren't underage, they still deserve some privacy and respect. Another reads, goddamn, I'm so tired of the conspiracy-addicted dipshits who think they are the world's greatest detectives. Half the people in this thread need to get off the fucking phone, man. Now, I will say that a lot of these comments, people are defending the kids, and I think a lot of the times everyone is mainly defending the girls, the twins. And when they are defending Christian, a lot of them don't know that he has a lawsuit against him. So there's more discourse once you read more replies of them being like, oh, I didn't even know that he was part of it, because they were writing about him in a way that he is purely innocent. And he is innocent until proven guilty, but just letting you know, there is a lawsuit against him. But others are angry, commenting, we are talking about a man who is accused of multiple murders, rapes, and domestic violence and other atrocities, but speculating about the suspicious death of the mother of his children is where we cross the line. Kim Porter's father has made an interesting statement to Daily Mail. He says, when I saw the video of what he did to Cassie, I was disgusted. I don't really have much to say beyond that. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty, I guess, but the truth will come out. He never states that he wants another look into the death of his daughter, but he does state that the previous investigation was, quote, a load of crap. Another family member of Kim states, I remember Kim as a little girl. She was just the sweetest little girl. And I remember how she grew up to be so beautiful and talented. But I saw the change in her when we visited her out in California when she was with him. She changed. Something wasn't right. Now, I feel in my spirit that he's guilty, but justice will have to take its course. If she was my daughter, I would be demanding that the investigation be reopened. So with that, Christian Combs has been in the news again because just 2 days after his dad's recent court hearing, the one where they set his trial date to May of 2025, 2 days after that, he was spotted partying with his girlfriend, pouring shots into her mouth. which is just not a good look because...
Like at a nightclub?
Yeah, but again, not a good look. It's a little odd. Some people are defending Christian Combs, saying, y'all need to stop it with judging this family for real. Y'all have convicted the whole family over hearsay. And once again, when you read more replies, you'll notice that people are reminding everyone Christian Combs has also been named in a civil lawsuit. Other comments read, let him live as he's already lost his mother. I did the same thing at that age. Everybody deals with family crisis differently. Others comment, what do you expect from him to do? Cry in his room? Others have pointed out that his girlfriend's nails are painted white. And some just think it's just not very tasteful or smart for him to be partying. And this is part 2. Part 3 will be about the 13 people who have mysteriously died around Diddy. There's also a very, very alarming pattern, like I said, of just the strange ways he responds to death. And finally, part 4 will be the so-called Diddy's List and all the internet allegations, as well as there have been some new lawsuits that have been filed against him, including Diddy being listed in a lawsuit filed against Kanye West. Wow. So there is a lot going on right now, a lot of new developments and discourse every day. Stay tuned and be safe, and I will see you in the next one.
Wow, that was a lot. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to do so much stuff and bring this stuff to y'all. I'm in the process of leaving my job. How about that? I'm just going to be honest with y'all, man. Why lie? I want to start off with saying, if somebody say, well, that's none of your business, I'm not going to talk about that. Right now, I'm not going to comment on that. If somebody say stuff like that, then they done did some stuff they ain't had no business doing. I feel sorry for puffy kids, especially the ones that think they grown. They don't understand what being grown is all about, especially when you one of the number one spoiled kids on this earth. Your father's a billionaire, and he doing stupid stuff like paying for women for you before you even 18. Come on, man. Little by little, man, we growing the channel little by little. I can't believe half the stuff that is coming out, and the stuff that's actually I didn't know that some of this stuff is public records and stuff, so I'm waiting for the next person that's going to be called. And if this thing going to trial, your right-hand man, your vice president, that female, I don't even know her name, is going to get called. Puffy kids is going to, you can't be out there partying. I don't care. People handle things differently. I don't care. You can't be out there partying like that when you know you got lawsuits and people pointing the finger at you and your family. Don't get me wrong. Go out and party. But you still videoing and shooting it? That must be the younger generation thing, man. Look here. I'm going to get on up out of here. Y'all take it light. Take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so.